Hello and welcome to the It's Your Effin' Journey podcast. My name is Melissa Hemming, and if a life coach and a therapist had a baby, you give me. I am so excited to introduce you to one of my favorite people and one of my favorite photographers, Steph Hines. She is our special guest today. She is an amazing photographer who has photographed me in my very first headshots, one of her Fempower sessions, which she's going to talk all about. And in so many locations. I mean, we figured out during the podcast, so many amazing places. And I just adore her as a person. And I'm so excited for you to hear her story and hear about her business and what sets her soul on fire, because that is what fires me up. Awesome women doing their shit and doing the hard things, right? That's where it's at. So without further ado, what time is it? Podcast time. It's a celebration. What time is it? Podcast time. Let's go meet Steph. Hello and welcome to the It's Your Effin' Journey podcast. I'm so happy you're here, Steph.
Hi, I'm so stoked. It's been a long time coming, I think.
Oh my God. Okay. Steph Hines, I had the pleasure of meeting back in 2018. 2018 was my very first Beachbody Summit, and I had signed up for the very first time to do headshots, which was like a wild experience in and itself, because I'm like, who the hell am I that I need headshots? But you know, all the cool kids were doing it, and I was like, all right, sign me up. So my very first time that I met you was, and oh my God, I was so scared. I was actually talking in my Instagram stories yesterday about how funny, how the tides have turned, because the first time that I met you, I was shitting myself in nervousness over these headshots. And now you're nervous to come on the podcast today. And I'm like, now I get you back.
Yeah, but the thing is, I was also nervous photographing you, and so we're just a bunch of nerves. I'm just still living in nervous land.
Well, it was so cool. So I'll never forget it. I took the cab to the Airbnb, and the Sarah Cronin was before me in the line. And I was like, oh my God, Sarah Cronin is here. And you were like spider monkeying all over the place with the lighting and the ring, the lights and the fan, the blowing of the hair. And I was like, what is happening? So you have had this photography business for how like, walk us through the beginning of your business and all of that.
Yeah. Well, I've been doing some form of photography since I was like probably 15 or something, like playing around with friends, like making them be models out in like nature and stuff like that. I love shooting nature. Then realized I like photographing people in nature, and then kept doing it, just off and on over the years. I've been full-time for like 12 years, I think now, between like weddings and portraits and stuff like that. Which is super fun, because I remember when I decided to be a photographer, I just assumed I'd always have to have a side gig because I didn't think I could just do just this. And now here I am. But yeah, it's.
I mean, because it's
been a fun ride, and it's like
all the time, right? Like they have to have something else.
Yeah, especially when like the seasons get slow and weird. Like we were talking before we started. Every winter, I'm like, but then I've tried to start embracing that a little more to give different parts of my business and just creative brain some space to breathe, because in the busy seasons like weddings and family portraits and stuff, it can get a little stifled because you're just trying to survive.
Yeah.
And then the winter comes and I hang glitter, and it's perfect.
And it looks fabulous. So your primary business is weddings. Okay. And then
a lot of weddings, a lot of families.
How did you get set up with Beachbody and doing the headshots there? How did that come to be?
Oh my goodness. You talk about like nervousness and then just going for it. Because I've told you before we started this, I told myself this year I'm doing stuff that scares me. And it's funny to think like in my mind, I haven't done that a lot over the years. But then I think about when someone asked me how I got started with the Beachbody world, I think back to that. I remember that moment like it was yesterday. We were living in Washington, And me and Jeff, like, I didn't have a job. I didn't have photography. I didn't have a side job. I had nothing. I was like sort of dabbling in Beachbody stuff as coaching wise, but I was still drawn to photography.
Yeah.
But because I was in the Beachbody world in the way of like a coach ish and like a customer, I knew some of the top coaches, and I had noticed Megan Wilson and that she lived in Washington. And it's so funny to think back now because we had one car and Jeff had to use it to go to work at the hospital. So I remember messaging her and being like, and this is weird. Hopefully you don't find this creepy, but it's kind of local to you. You know, she had just became elite, her first year going elite. And I was like, if you need some photos, let me know. If you'd like to come to my house to do them because I don't have a car. It was just a whole bunch of like, fingers crossed, see what happens. And she replied and was like, yeah, that'd be awesome. And it's so fun to think back to it now because her middle kid was like 2 at the time. And she came with her and like all of her headshots, like she's hugging onto her leg. And I just remember that so vividly because now she's like 13 or I don't know. It's just, she's like a grown woman almost. And like just how we were both starting out in these different things kind of at the same time. But it was so lovely because then it grew to photographing her more because we both lived in Washington for a while. And then by the time she moved or I moved away, I don't remember which one came first, we had a friendship and a photography relationship. And then she hired me to do retreats. And then other Beachbody people knew of her because then she became bigger there. And then it just kept going and going. And it was the coolest explosion of my career. Like it was just so, so fun.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize until recently.
Go.
But just that I've been doing Fempower longer than I thought I'd been doing Fempower. Like the Beachbody stuff has always been Fempower, which is what this space is now. And I in my mind, I just started a couple of years ago, and I was having that conversation with Jeff recently, and he's like, "Babe, this has been like Beachbody has been a different version of Fempower that you've been doing for years." And it was just cool because I've always been so drawn to it, and it makes sense, that connection and stuff now. But
so tell me about Fempower and when that erupted and what that's been like for you.
Yeah, in my mind, before connecting the dots with the Beachbody stuff, it started probably like 4 years ago or so. A friend of mine that lives close by asked if I do boudoir photos. And I'm like, no, yes and no, sort of, not really. Because there's the idea of traditional boudoir just never interests me to shoot it. And she's like, well, I'd love to do some stuff outside. I'm like, well, that's awesome because we're on 10 acres here. We've got trees. Like it's something a little different that you can't really get it just anywhere with going out into the woods half naked or naked. So I was like, well, that sounds fun. So we did that. And then it just kind of kept like growing here and there. Like I would, friends would have me do some stuff. We started shooting a little bit in the basement against just the plain cement walls. And then of course, like outside and stuff like that too. And then it just kept growing. And the more time I spent doing these shoots and felt like this creative hole being filled, and also this like healing as a woman, navigating your feels about your body and just the experience of being a woman and how hard that can be at times. And like watching these women have these beautiful experiences where they were seeing themselves like the rest of the world was. And then now, like a joke, but it's true, like every single shoot I have, probably like 99% of the shoots I have, like one of us ends up crying in like a beautiful way. Like, cause we get down here and we're shooting and then we're talking and then we're healing and we're growing. And it's just like, and then the stuff that I've hung and like decorated the space with has just been like a little added bonus because what happens in this Fempower experience is so powerful for me, not just like the person that I'm photographing. Like every shoot I have, like a piece of me heals, and it's like been really magical to experience that and watch other women get to experience it too for themselves.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I think back to that first headshot experience. That was the first time I think I had ever gotten behind a camera in that way. I mean, I think it was the first time I ever did. It was incredible on that level, even just having your picture taken and knowing that I don't want to say that it mattered, but there was a purpose for it, right? It sort of felt so weird to put yourself in that role. And every time I did it, it just, you learn to sort of embrace yourself as you are and see yourself in a different way, I guess. And then like, and how cool is that? And then when you presented I think the first time I did the Fempower, or was this just the one time in San Antonio, right? Is that what it was?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you did like the mini Fempower shoot you offered to everyone if they wanted to sort of do that. So it was sort of Fempower on a smaller scale, but still so fucking powerful. Mm-hmm. And it's changed. Those shoots have changed how I see my body. And, like I do, naked races now. And people are like, how do you do that? And I'm like, it's literally just getting comfortable with yourself in those ways. And Fempower totally helped me to do that.
It led, like, not forces you, but lets you step back a little bit from yourself and see, you know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think what they were talking about the headshot thing, it made me think a lot of women have a hard time, I think, even thinking about doing a shoot like that, like whether it's a regular headshots, unless it's specifically for something, or a shoot like this, because we're so used to not being alone in front of the camera and not being like, not making space for ourselves alone in that way, you know? So that when people do it, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm actually really fucking awesome. You know, like getting this moment to just like stand alone, you know, covered or naked. That's the cool thing about like the space and like the Fempower. People ask how, like, what it is, and I don't really know how to totally explain it because it's not just boudoir and it's not just portraiture. It's like everything in between. Like I joke that it's like you can come in here in a snowsuit or be like butt naked, and like I've done everything in between. And it's whatever feels good for that person, and maybe it's a mix
Yeah.
of all of it. But it's just like whatever, you know, makes you feel like you, and all of that power. And it's really cool. And I've had clients and friends of mine, I'll post a picture on my Instagram or whatever, and one of them texted me recently, and she's like, I was scrolling and saw it and was like, oh my gosh, that woman's body is so soft and strong and beautiful. And then I was like, holy shit, that was me. It was herself. And then she just saw it from a different perspective, and then
Oh
had
my
this like, oh my
God.
gosh, like moment. It was really powerful, you know, to be like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's you, girl. Like I didn't, and you know, I don't retouch, I don't do anything. I just snap what's in front of me, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, you see all those posts on social media about like moms being not in the picture, right? Like they're often the ones
Mm-hmm.
taking the pictures and not in the pictures themselves. And I think, I see so many women, like you post a photo and they're like, I don't like the way that I look in that photo. And it's like, I think that when you do see yourself through the eyes of someone else like you who's taking it or someone else who's viewing it, it does give you this sense of yourself that you're not used to having that own opinion of or seeing yourself in that way.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Absolutely.
So the Fempower is a piece of your business that you're wanting to grow even more because you love doing it.
Yes, I mean, I love all the things that I shoot, but I can't deny the fact that this has taken over such a big part of my heart because of
Yeah.
everything I just mentioned, like because of watching women like grow and feel loved and feel supported and feel like heard, like in the conversations, like I said, half the time, like the shoots are like half shooting and half just deep conversation about experiences and all that kind of stuff. And it's just so cool. And every now and then Mango's around for one of the shoots, and that's been really fun to watch because she's just everybody's little hype girl, and she's seeing women of different spaces in life and shapes and sizes and abilities and all these things, and she's just seeing how powerful and empowered like they all are, which is so fun for me to be raising a little girl that's like, hell yeah, go women, we all rock, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
no matter what it looks like, you know, which is super super just magical, and that can make me cry. It's awesome.
Yeah. It is so amazing. And I think about, the naked run, and I only was able to get to the naked run from the photo shoots. I'm a believer. I'm always a believer in all the steps that you take and one takes to get to like where they've been. And I know that I only did the naked run because of a place that I had gotten to of appreciation with my body. But going to a naked run and being able to be naked around other people, I think what you get, and I'm sure you can relate from being on the photography side of it, is that everyone is imperfect. No one has a perfect body. And I think that the more that you understand that and then can understand your own imperfections and embrace them, is you get to, it's like a whole other level. Like people that are like, Melissa, put your fucking clothes on. I'm like, I can't. I just can't because I get it now. I think you judge yourself
Yeah.
compared to other people, and when you see other people as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
it's like we're all in the same position and we all should just embrace the absolute beauty of what our bodies can do and do.
Absolutely. We touched on this before we talked in the way of awkwardness. Like I was like, I joke now, I'm like, well, it's about to get awkward, but then like it is, and I am. And I used to fight it so hard. And then like a few years back, I started just trying to lean into it. And I watched my images get better. I watched people like go from like, ah, to like, oh, well, she's weird. Awesome. You know what I mean? Like she's weird. I'm weird. We're all weird. Like it's the same idea of that. Like
Yeah.
seeing each other as just, we're all having this human experience and whatever, you know what I mean? And just leaning into whatever that looks like. And having grace for other people and having love for other people and then giving that love to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
Well,
powerful.
and I think that that's what makes you so good at what you do is I mean, you're honest about who you are and also the passion that you have for what you do. I think that that goes a long way too. But honestly, being like, yeah, this is who I am, you also allow people to just be like, this is weird. Because it's weird having your photo taken. And as comfortable as I am with you now, even still, when we get into that mode, I'm like, this is fucking like what's going on? Like, what do we do now?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you are such a like a calming person to have in that role. It just really helps. You know, like you offer suggestions, you are there
Thank
for it
you.
all, but you also are just like a normal person, right? Have you
Thank you.
ever have you ever had
Like I
your
hope
own photos taken?
a couple times over the years. Yeah, a good friend of mine that's in Nashville, she does this kind of photography as well. It's funny that you say that because she came out, I guess it was a little over a year ago, and I kind of assumed, I was like, yeah, I want to do a shoot. And then I had the typical thoughts of like, oh, not where I want to, whatever, like that nonsense that we all go through before a photo shoot, not where I want to be. And I was like, no, F that. And then I went for it. And I told her, I was like, I'll probably start in this and then this and whatever, and then maybe do some that are like fully nude or whatever. I didn't. I just started straight naked. And I was like, I don't know what's happening. This is awesome. Like, I was just like, here we go. You know, it was like cool to like see me, see like me have taken these things from these shoots and be like, I can be like, them and we're all, you know, whatever. It was just like I shocked myself, and it was a really cool moment too to be like, well, here we are. But it helps when you're comfortable with the person on the other side of the camera too. But I wouldn't have gotten to that. I would not have jumped straight into that had it not been for experiencing all these experiences with these other women,
Yeah.
watching them be brave and, you know, helping them through it too, and just going for it.
Yeah. Well, and that was what I was going to ask you. So the most or the what's the right word to say this? The biggest hesitation that people sort of come at is that they are not ready yet or they want to get to a certain place first before they do it. That's what, because I
Mm-hmm.
remember that's what was happening when you were sort of presenting this opportunity to some of the coaches when we were at that summit in San Antonio, and a lot of them were like, not yet, maybe next year. And like, what do you
Yeah.
say to that? How do you combat that?
It's a little dance because I don't want to ever seem pushy, but I will also say when I'm doing a photo shoot, like I'm going to nudge you. That's what I try to say. Like I'm going to sort of push you, and if you're like a hard no on like whatever, cool. But I want you to like see what you can do, you know. And that goes with that hesitation too, because I'd like to say that my brand or however you want to say it, like what I put out there in the world in the Fempower zone shows that like you're always ready and you're also
Yeah.
never going to feel ready. And like that's exactly what I say to them. You're always going to be a body that's ready to do this. You know what I mean? And just embrace like where you are now. But I also am a human woman that understands like the nerves and like the hopes and the perfection and like all that kind of stuff that we think we're chasing or whatever, or that we are chasing, that we think is a thing that we should get to, which is, but whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, just kind of reminding them like you're always ready and you're never going to be ready and you should just go for it, because like that's maybe dramatic and kind of sad, but like there may not be a next year. Like in the example of San Antonio, there wasn't another event the next year for one. Obviously they can go do a shoot like that elsewhere or whatever, but like you're always going to have excuses to not do it. So why not just embrace where you are now and then do it again in a couple years or whatever, you know? Just
Yeah.
like be in the body you are now and embrace that. I actually had that thought about myself this morning, looking at myself in the mirror, and because I've had my battles and things. Sorry to kind of go left field here, but I've had my battles and stuff growing up, younger, older, now, you know, all the things, and went to therapy a lot about it, talked to her recently about it, and just trying to embrace where I'm at, no matter what that is, like whether I'm at my strongest or my like fittest or not, or whatever space I'm in. And like looked at myself, had like the thoughts for like half a second that wanted to come in and be intrusive and stuff. And I was like, no, I am fabulous and strong. And I love where I'm at right now. And it's going to look different. It looks different than it did. It'll look different next, whatever it is. You know what I mean? And just
Yeah.
trying to feel only love with that, which again, these shoots help me get there too, which is a really beautiful, like, team experience with doing these shoots.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and I mean, it goes along with why gratitude is so important, right? Because if you're not able to recognize the good in yourself now, the good in your body now, what's positive about your body right now, you're not going to be able to recognize it then. So,
Right.
so
You're always
doing
chasing
things,
it.
just right now and saying, okay, maybe I am not where I want to be, and I, want to have stronger arms, Betty, a bigger booty. That's always what I'm shooting for. Stupid dog. But my point is that you don't have to. You can still appreciate yourself now and also want to change. And I think embracing yourself through those photos and through these photo shoots really helps you get there too.
Absolutely. I've had a few different women specifically ask me to photograph stretch marks, for example. Like one of them has never had kids, has stretch marks like we do from growing up, and then like one of them has stretch marks from having a kid, and she also has a scar from a certain surgery she had, whatever, and she's fought like negative thoughts about it her whole life, both of these women, and they specifically asked about photographing them, and I'm like, hell yeah. And so we do. And the friend of mine that had me do like the multiple scar and stuff like that, like shot, she's like, I stare at it all the time. Like I love it so much. Like because now I'm looking at it and it's like cool, badass, artsy way that is like just straight up her body. Like I said, I don't edit anything like that. So she knows like this is hers, and now she just looks at it in such a cool way, which also reminds me, another client of mine told me that she has changed the setting on her phone at night, like I guess right before bed or whatever, to show some of her Fempower shots, like right before she goes to bed. So as this like little reminder to be like, oh hell yeah, I'm so awesome. You know what I mean? Like just like a little boop at the end of the day. So it's not like flashing when she's out in the world, but she can have this little reminder that she doesn't have to like consciously be like, oh, go look at my gallery. You know what I mean? I thought that was super intentional and beautiful and like continues that healing perspective of yourself, which is so incredibly powerful.
Yeah, it really is, like those reminders of it. I look back at mine, when Catherine O'Hara died, and that famous quote that she had in Schitt's Creek about getting naked. I made a reel with all my photos, and it's so nice to look back. And I think what's so cool too is that my body is always changing, and to sort of be able to celebrate it at these different stages of where I've been has been really cool too. And, it helps you to sort of understand when your body changes because of perimenopause or menopause or babies or whatever you go through. I think it's totally normal for yourself to look different, and also important for you to notice the good things in those changes. I'm just, this has been on my mind recently. Absolutely. Because when I was going through my divorce last year, I was in the divorce diet, and I lost so much weight, and sort of coming back and being more myself now, it can be a mind fuck, right, to where you are and where you've been. And also a constant reminder for myself to appreciate my strong body, not necessarily my skinny body.
Yes. Yep. I have that talk with myself often, just because the body has changed a lot the last couple of years, perimenopause, life, all the things, about how it visually looks. But then I think about how me and Jeff talk about this a lot, how when we first met, I was like, I don't even know, like so thin, like I don't even want to think about it because it just sounds so creepy to think about it now. And how I've had my brain over the years be like, oh, but that was like yay or whatever. But I'm like, no way. Like I couldn't lift the things I lift now and do what I do and run like I run and carry my giant child around all the, you know what I mean? Like I want this over that. And like, it just takes those gentle reminders every now and then to be like, no, I'm awesome no matter what. And then when I lose strength for an injury, like I'm still awesome, like just like going through like all those waves, like you said, like those different parts of life.
Yeah. And it's hard, but I think having those, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all the photos. And I love that you are helping other women do this and, embrace themselves. Are there other things that hold people back from doing it other than the sort of not feeling ready? Like, do you get other?
Not, unworthy of putting that kind of attention or funds even, which, to be totally transparent, like I try to keep the pricing of this kind of thing reachable for everyone because I think it's so important and powerful, like that I think every woman should do it, but it's usually it's like, no, I got to put that towards like the whole family shoot or somebody's something else, you know what I mean? Or I don't deserve to have that, to do that for myself alone. Like or what am I going to do with the photos? That kind of thing happens sometimes too. And sometimes people do it and they come in and they think they're doing it only for their partner. which I'm always like, yeah, okay. By the end of it, they usually end up being like, oh my gosh, that was more for me than I expected, which is always awesome. But I'm like, if you get in here, if it gets you in the door thinking you're doing it for them, okay, that's
Yeah.
fine now, because I know that's going to flip at some point during the shoot and you're going to be like, wait,
Yeah.
this is like, I'll show them, but also these are for me. You know what I mean? Like I want that to be the goal. Like I actually
I
tell people
didn't
that too.
even,
Like don't think about it just for the person.
yeah. I didn't even think about that. Like how many people must sign up doing it for their spouse and not for themselves. But again, I always
Yep.
go back to, because I was just having this conversation like a couple weeks ago with someone about Beachbody, and she was like, she had done Beachbody programs. I don't know how involved she was with the coaching stuff, but she was saying to me like, it's so cool that you had a good experience with Beachbody, because I don't hear all that like all that often. And I am always like the like praising to the rooftops, because if it wasn't for Beachbody, not only with getting me to feel strong, but also putting in the confidence that I could own my own business, that I could have a podcast, that I could have a headshot. I mean, that one headshot maybe seems silly to some
Yeah.
people, but that was like a snowball effect into everything else. And and I mean,
Absolutely.
obviously, like I wouldn't know you either. You know, I could
Yeah.
never shit on Beachbody because of all the things that it's brought me. But I just, and whatever,
Same.
I guess whatever gets somebody in the door, whether it's a stupid, silly headshot or it's
Yes.
a present for their spouse, which is so infuriating to me because I'm like, no, you are worth it. Whatever gets them started.
I know, I do. I have that, and it would frustrate me more in the beginning because until I started seeing that it flips during the shoot, usually, I'm like, okay, if you think that's the only way you're going to get in here to do this is that you think that it's for someone else, okay. But like, because now I just know it will shift. Like I have the shoot I have today. She mentioned that it's for their anniversary or whatever, but then like when she's filling out her questionnaire, it says like the first couple outfits, you could tell like it's for him. And then the next two, she's like, "This one's for me, and I wanted this vibe, and this one's for me, this energy that I want to bring to it." And it was really cool because her answer to that one was like, "How I want to show how proud I am of my body, what it's done for me with this sport and that sport, and like whatever." And it's just cool because sometimes people, you can tell they get scared typing in these questionnaires, and then I just want to, when they come in, I just want to be like, "I got you,"
Yeah.
because they're like, "I don't know what I love about me," or like, "I'm terrified to be in front of a camera," like exposed, you know what I mean? And it's just cool to, I don't know, it's cool to see the questionnaire and how it flows, whether it's like just for partner or so terrified, and then watch them transform in here, whether it's,
Yeah.
now I'm confident and here I am naked, or it's like, oh my gosh, the shoot, he's like, they're lucky if they see these images because this is actually for me now.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
fun.
and I think about Megan too, like, you know, even before, I think it was before all the Fempower shoot that I did with you, but like even watching how she prepared for her photo shoots, like remember the fucking dress she was waiting for at the post office at one of the leadership retreats? Like
I know.
she took so much, I think, intentional effort into the photo shoots that
Yeah.
I don't, I think it just was such a good influence on like that you can invest in yourself. You can show up for yourself. You can get excited
Yeah.
about something that's just for you and not a photo shoot for your whole family and dressing them in matching shit for
Hmm.
Easter. That was never fulfilling because everyone was always mad. You can dress up for yourself because it's exciting, you know?
Yep. Yep, just for you. Do
Just
whatever you
for
want with the
you.
photos or do nothing. Well, you did them. And it's like that's it too, is like even if you don't do anything with the photos, because I've had people say that, like, I do it, but what would I do with them? Like, just, but then it's hard to explain, like, you're going to feel something when you do this, whether you take those images and do anything with those or not. Like, it's the experience that's more of like, well, the experience. That's more of the thing than the actual product sometimes.
My friend like has a giant photo of her in her bedroom as a reminder.
Nice.
I think that's great. Like, I think my kids might be really mad at me, but I would love to do that, you know, when my
Yeah,
son
hell yeah.
graduates high school or something.
Yeah, and then just plaster your house
Or
everywhere,
that
every
might be a
room.
good way to keep him out of my room. I don't know.
That's a good point. Tactics.
So what does your business look like now? Like how, like, what is it, the breakdown of like weddings and Fempower and what other stuff do you do? You do like babies
It's a
and
good
families?
Sometimes, yeah. I do a lot of families. That's come up. That's gotten busier again. Like it's come in waves over the years from where we lived, and I used to photograph a lot of families in Kentucky, and now I don't get back as often because men go in school. But now that she's in school, I've gotten more families here to photograph, so that's become more of a bulk of it. Weddings are weird right now. Like I still do a lot of weddings, but just the wedding industry in general is strange. So this year's a little bit slower for now than it has been. But instead of freaking out like I tend to do with that, I'm trying to just redirect because I want to be here more, like that's part of
Yeah.
it. Like my heart wants to be here more than it has been. Maybe not necessarily like more than
And
weddings or whatever, but it's more than it
here
has
is
been. Like I
like
want to figure
Lake
out how to
Tahoe, right?
well, hear Fempower stuff, but yeah,
Okay, okay,
too. I
Fempower.
don't know. I still
Gotcha.
love traveling for stuff, but yeah, just within within like the Fempower space, like I want more of
Gotcha.
this to be able to like share that experience more with more women. But yeah, but that's I don't know. Business is weird. Being a
Yeah,
creative is hard.
it
And just
really
running your own business is its own like thing. And I'm like, what do I do? I don't know. So then I'll just
that
hang
is like
some
me
cool
every
backdrops
fucking
and see
day.
what
I'm
happens.
like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, and no one's here to tell me, and that's really hard.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. And then keeping up with the trends and the things. And then I just shut down because I'm like, no, because then I'm rebellious. I'm like, I won't do that. And then I'm like, should I
I
be
know.
doing that? It's like that back and forth.
Well, yeah, if someone
Yeah.
was to come and be like, Melissa, do this, I'd be like, fuck you. You don't tell me what to do.
Yeah. No, no, no. I'm not going to do that only because you said so. Yeah, same. Exact same.
What do you like? How do you do that? Like, do you have other photographers that you like riff with, you talk business with, or you just,
No, I think about that often.
yeah,
No, I think about that often. I was thinking about it this morning, actually. I've started listening to a podcast more often that's two photographers that go back and forth. And I feel like that's my coworkers or something because I don't have a lot of photographer friends, maybe a few, but it's partially because this goes back to like a confidence thing. When I was in school for photography, I'm going to be totally transparent. I was mostly with a bunch of like middle-aged and older white men that wanted to talk about how big their gear was, literally, and like just you know what I mean. And they want to be like, "This is expensive, and this is a big lens, and this is like I'm better than you, and you don't know what you're talking about because whatever." And so all of those kind of things like made me not want to be friends with photographers, to be honest with you, because I was so
yeah,
intimidated and like terrified at this point. Like you're gonna hate me, and I probably do suck, and you're gonna assume that I suck and then I'm gonna believe you. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like I've battled with like the not enough and confident stuff my whole life. I still do. I get nervous before every single shoot, but I'm now like getting to a place where I'll push myself and do things that scare me because then I can, then I'm like, okay, I survived. I'm fine. But it has still kept this like weird boundary. Like I've kept myself in this little box, even though like I want to get out of it and meet other photographers and be friends with them and like, have that space. I can tell I'm still like
there have
scared.
got to be
So
cool
maybe that's coming this year
photographers
too.
like you. I mean, like you just got the
They're
bad
they're
bunch.
fabulous here, especially. Yeah, I agree. It just like it's what started my perspective, and I know it's a me problem, so I'm trying to break through it. It just I don't know. That one's a hard one. I need
Yeah,
to though. I want to. Like the desire is there, and I do. I
yeah.
will say I'm gonna pat myself on the back a little bit. Like last summer, a local venue had a vendor gathering, like a celebration for vendors. I always avoid those because I'm intimidated. I'm nervous. Like again, everything I just said about just assuming people are going to be like, she sucks. Why? I don't know. But like that's where my head would go, so I wouldn't go. And finally went to one and had a wonderful time and didn't die. And I was like, okay, I can do this. I'm gonna like keep breaking through.
Well, I mean,
It's
like
okay.
you have to give yourself credit also for committing to this year of doing scary things. And I mean, it sounds like you do scary things quite often, especially if you get nervous before every shoot.
Yeah, I keep waiting for that to go away after so many years of doing photos and it doesn't. Yeah, I mean that's a good point. I like that idea. The fact that I still do it every time. I mean there's a little
You
percentage
do.
back in the day, there's a very high percentage of my brain that would hope that someone would cancel because of the fear. And now it's still sort of there, but now it's like not as often, but it's still this voice that I'm battling in my head that I know will get smaller and smaller the more I do the things that scare me. You know what I mean? In addition to
Yeah.
doing shoots all the time, but also like this. And, I did that teaching class last week and just stuff like that that sounds absolutely terrifying to me. And then I do it. And then I
Yeah.
live and then I do the next one and then, and then it just builds back that confidence that I've been searching for a while, which again, all that ties back into the Fempower stuff. Like there's so much within the Fempower that is so much of my soul that has been looking for it and grasping onto and like just wanting to heal myself and help heal others, and in like the confidence way, not just getting in front of a camera, but just being vulnerable, having these deep conversations, like feeling safe. Like I was looking through some reviews that I have the other day from Fempower shoots, and almost every single one of them said they felt so safe. And I was like, it made me cry. I was like, that is so powerful, especially in a space like this, but especially as a woman, and especially when you're already like a woman that's coming into something that's scary, and maybe there's a confidence thing too, and just, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think you know what?
Yeah, right, absolutely. Yeah, if you're doing it right. Yeah, does it matter? Like it feels like something in the space, and it was scary too. Like I reached out to all these women because I realized I was working on my new website. I didn't have any reviews for Fempower. Like I have some for weddings and stuff, but I thought I'm gonna reach out, which is like, I mean, there's a chance that they're gonna come back and be like, worst experience of my life. Nobody did, but like there's that chance when you're like, hi, can you tell me how it was for you? Like, did you enjoy yourself?
Well,
it's another vulnerable, scary thing. No, I need to. That sounds awesome. Seriously, that could be a statement for the century. It kind of varies. Like it's more so in the summer and the fall, but I do have 2 or 3 in April, and then 1 or 2 in May this year. So my first one's April, whatever Easter is. I have one in Nashville in October. I think that's the most east I got.
Damn it.
I know anymore. I know. That was awesome. I love that very much. I know. That's what I've told people, that like with the Beachbody stuff and the way that it ended, I'm like, I'm the most sad that I'm not going to see my people every year. Like it was like once a year I knew I was going to see you guys, and then now it's, oh my gosh. Yeah, I think you're right. Or maybe it was Punta Cana. Yeah.
Or was it both?
It was one of those. Maybe. Like, I don't know. They're not blending together. That's awesome.
So many amazing.
That's so cool. That's so fun. I love that. Like I did it, and I'm not sweating. I was sweating more. I was sweating more when I taught that class last week. Like I felt my face hot, and I was like just pouring. And right now I'm like, I'm good. I'm comfortable. I didn't stutter too much. Yeah. That was so scary. Yeah. I mean, I also survived it. I have to keep reminding myself of that. Like I don't know how it went, but I survived. Yeah, so it was like slightly traumatizing, not too bad, but I survived and I'm less sweaty today, so that feels like a win. I really like that perspective. I feel like that immediately makes me feel something in me, like, wow, I haven't thought about it like that, because up until you've said that, I've looked at it like my negative self-talk. I'm like, wow, you're super weak. You've been doing this for 12 plus years and you're still terrified. Like, what are you doing? And during every shoot, I have these moments of like, what am I doing? And then it works out. But I like that shift of like, no, I'm doing it even though I'm doing it scared. Yeah. I'm doing it nervous. Like, I'm doing it intimidated or like whatever. Oh. Yeah, it's the other side of it. It's the during the session, and the other side, like sharing the images with the people, whether it's like the wedding or the Fempower or whatever it is. It's that stuff that reminds me to push through.
You do good work. You do good shit.
So far, so good. Thank you. I feel like my heart's in the right place. So like, I get so excited. That's why I tell people I have to send sneak peeks because I can't hold on to them like in like secret. I'm like, no, like you have to see them too. And then hopefully people are as excited as I am. But I get so excited that goes back to like that passion and like obsession, like love, like for what I do. I can't. Yeah, I got to share them immediately because I'm just. Like I felt like oh, that tracks. I'm like, I know you can't see me, but do that. Oh my gosh. I still use a hairdryer. I do have a stand now that I use. I think I might have traveled with it. Yeah, in San Antonio. I finally have a stand to set the hairdryer on. So it's not here or like tucked in a shoe, you gotta get creative. That's what's so fun too about those events. Like, and I need to figure out a way to do that within my Fempower space, because those experiences of doing those photos, whether it's the headshots or the other kind of shoots that I've done with Beachbody or the Fempower stuff, when there's been a group of women together, it's so fun because like you're scared and in front of the camera, but then like you've got someone over here and you feel like you're gonna be nervous, people watching you, but then they're all so stoked and they're like, you look beautiful, this is so funny, like you got this, it's like this hype squad that's such an energy that was so, I mean, it was addicting to like be around and be able to do photos, and that's kind of a space because it's just literally like watching so many women support women and like boost them up and make them feel supported and loved on. And it's like, there's nothing like it. Yeah. For one another. And it doesn't. I love that. Yeah. I feel like that changed a lot of how the vibes were with doing those shoots when it was more group clustered like that. It felt like it felt good for everybody, which is really cool. Cool for me to experience and watch the excitement. Awesome. Yeah. Yep. That'd be awesome. Thank you.
And I'm cheering.
Thank you. I can't wait to see you. Thanks for letting me do this. I appreciate the the nudge and the space and
Always
all of
happy
it's been
to
amazing.
chat with
Yeah,
you. All right,
same. I
we
gotta
will
see you
talk
soon.
soon.
All right, girl.
Bye.
Good to see you. Bye.
I hope you loved this episode as much as I loved chatting with Steph. Steph, thank you for sharing your time and sharing your heart with us. If this episode spoke to you, please take a screenshot, share it in your stories, share it on your social media, send it to a friend, tag me. I love to hear when you love the episodes or when you've tuned in. So thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next week.